Hi everyone, this is Samit from TalksOnGround. Today we are going to discuss a geopolitical visit of great importance by Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, to the USA to meet newly elected President of the US, which is Donald Trump. The reason this visit is important, Biden administration came in, India got into the grip of a COVID wave in April 2021, and the US took a long time to respond with any help, any real statement of intent of helping India, and so on. Now, it's not important from a geopolitical standpoint per se, but just 1 year prior to that, or 6 months before that, when US was going through a really bad COVID wave, India had stepped up and given US all the assistance that it required and requested. So, in geopolitical terms, these things matter from a visual perspective, from an image perspective, and everyone wants to be seen to be doing good. So that was the first straw on the camel's back, so to say. Even before that, Joe Biden took office on 20th January 2021, but his first call with Narendra Modi took almost 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks to happen. And it was pretty much the last call he made from amongst the top countries. So he took a long time before he even spoke to Narendra Modi. And that's a big deal in diplomacy. And in diplomacy, such things indicate, where you are in terms of the pecking order. Just 4 months after this COVID outbreak in August 2021, the very tumultuous exodus from Afghanistan happened. And then from 2022 March, there was the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, and the Indian response in continuing to purchase Russian oil drew a very sharp and a caustic response from the US, and it warned that India will face consequences for it. And consequences it faced. It faced in the way US dealt with New Delhi, the way the US dealt with the allies or people or the country all around India, like Nepal and Bhutan and Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So all of these issues were really top and center for a long time in the Biden administration. And surely India didn't matter as much to the Biden administration as it did to the Trump first term. In the first term of Donald Trump from 2017 to 21, there was a lot of bonhomie. There were visits by Trump and by Modi to the US, and there were a lot of defense deals that got actually signed. But a lot of those orders were not fulfilled during the term of Joe Biden. And then, right after the G20 summit in India, which was in September 2020, there was a major fracas or a diplomatic spat which broke out between India and Canada. And the US jumped in just a couple of months later in December with the Niger and Pannu issue. And that continued even through the last days of Biden presidency. What was at stake was probably the future of the US dollar, because India didn't walk out of BRICS, even though US had downgraded the Quad into a talking shop. And India was not playing ball with the Biden administration's vision for the world. Now, when Donald Trump has taken over just 10 days back, there is a lot of hope in India that relations between these two countries will become better based on the first term of Donald Trump, and also that he's a conservative leader. He's more inward focused. He's more focused on commercial matters, economic matters, than he is on geopolitical and geostrategic matters. That's not to say that he doesn't have a strategic view. In fact, a lot of the strategic views that Donald Trump have or has are going to align more with the New Delhi administration. And so the views that Donald Trump has from both a geopolitical and a geo-economic standpoint are more aligned to the views of the Modi government than the Modi government's views were aligned with the Biden administration. So this is of a major consequence in the relationship. Now, what are the things that Donald Trump is looking for from India? From a public posture standpoint, in my view, they have already raised when the Foreign Minister of India, S.J. Shankar, went to US recently. for the inauguration of Donald Trump, the illegal immigration from India was already raised. Now there are supposed to be hundreds and thousands of Indians who have entered the US illegally. They have already deported maybe 18, 20,000 of them last year. They are looking to deport another 20,000. From my understanding, India will be very happy to get on board with this because India itself has an illegal immigration problem. So Modi government will surely not shy away from this. Another point to note is that news reports suggest that the Modi government itself is going to come out with a immigration anti-immigration bill or an immigration bill that will allow the government to deport illegal aliens more easily. So I don't think this will be a major stumbling block, but India would want to extract a pound of flesh from something like this so that, Trump gets what he wants, but he has to give something in return. Reports also suggest that when Donald Trump spoke to Narendra Modi, he asked that, India should be importing more of US defense equipment. Now, this is where I think the main game between Modi and Trump will be played. Because on China, both India and Modi and Trump administration will see eye to eye. But where the divergence can come is where, whether India should rely on US weapons or whether on the Russian weapons or others. Now, the fact is that Indian Army, Indian Navy, they are not averse to buying or purchasing US equipment, but they are averse to the conditionalities and the kind of consequences they have later on. And the US in the last 1 year has stalled delivery of the G40414 engines, which are pivotal to India launching the next fleet of lot of planes, which is the Tejas Mark 1A. Now, this is of great consequence for India because Indian Air Force is under resourced to take on a mighty Chinese Air Force, at least from a numbers perspective. India needs numbers, but India is looking to do a lot of the production in house. So whichever company wants to sell these planes to India wants them to produce them in India, at least at a later stage, even if the first few are produced outside. So the deal for the MRFA or the medium aircraft, which is stuck for many years, is stuck because a lot of these companies are not willing to accept the conditions. And why will they? If they start manufacturing in India, they lose a lot of control on the IP, and over time India will be self-reliant, and India will not need. So this is the issue. The aircraft engine issue is, I think, the battleground when it comes to India and US defense relationship. Because if GE cannot deliver the engines, I don't think India is going to purchase too many things. India will drag its feet and ask that these deliveries be completed. For the US, the problem is that if they complete this delivery, then India will quickly take a call that, okay, we are going to only go with Tejas, and we don't need your fighters, whether it is F-35, F-16, or any other fighter that US might offer India. And India is not actually looking to purchase any US aircraft because of what the Pakistanis have in their arsenal, and also because India's experience with US defense has not been good when it comes to airplanes. Now, the other issue that Donald Trump has raised is the US dollar. Now, he said that, if BRICS was to, stop purchasing or using US dollar, he's going to impose tariffs. Now, it sounds like a very strong statement, but he's walking back a bit on the tariff part because there will be consequences not just for the exporting countries, but also for the US from an inflationary standpoint. And therefore, in a high inflation environment, he might have to take the middle path. He might impose some tariffs to show, everyone that he's doing something, but he might not go the 100% route. At the same time, US dollar, the de-dollarization drive is continuing. And I don't think Trump will be willing to stop it. At the same time, I think he's on board with US losing its reserve dollar status, but will want it to be the trading currency. And I don't think anyone in the world is averse to that. If the US can guarantee that they are not going to sanction a country, from a geopolitical standpoint by, imposing sanctions on dollars and their trade. So this is where these are the key issues that I think will come up. So number one will be defense purchases, immigration, US dollar. They can be other, regional issues that come up, like what will happen to Iran. So Trump will be quite hard on Iran, and that can put India in a tough situation because India has planned a trade corridor from there where it can reach Afghanistan. So India would want the Trump administration to back off on Iran a little, but the Americans would, or Trump will want the just the opposite. So that's something that's going to cause some sort of a fissure between the two sides. The other issue that I see is really that Trump will want that India ought to import more goods from America, or he's going to impose some tariffs. Now, on that front, I think India will be all right. I don't think India has a problem importing goods from the US or services. It's just a matter of whether India has to be forced to buy Harley Davidsons that they don't need. But at the same time, I don't see it as a major issue right now. The other thing that will come up are the neighborhood of India and the neighborhood of US. The Indo-Canadian relations are not good, and the US-Canadian relations have also nosedived because Trump wants Canada to be the 50 whatever second state of the US of the first. So that's going to because of the Nijja Pannu issue, though it was buried by India, I think on 17th or 18th of January by saying that we the committee has completed its work and we're going to charge one guy, Vikas Yadav, with some jail time, whatever. So I don't think that issue will hold back India and the US. What can hold back is Bangladesh and Pakistan and China. On Bangladesh, I think Trump will be a little more sympathetic to the Indian view that India should not be facing a hostile neighbor on its east, just like it has on the west in Pakistan. But I don't think Trump will want to give India everything they want just to extract a heavier economic price from India. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens on the Bangladesh front in the next few months, because surely the Trump administration has already fired Donald Lu, who was like the regime change specialist. So I don't think Trump is interested in Bangladesh in the way Biden was, or whoever was running that policy. But at the same time, India ought not to expect that US will just take away all the leverage that they have on India. So Bangladesh can be a pricking point. The other issue that can come up is Afghanistan, maybe oil purchases that India is doing from Saudi Arabia or UAE or other places. US might want India to ramp up the purchase from the US. India will be glad to do it if the price is right. Finally, I think the other aspect could be that there could be some militarization of Quad as things go along, and that is where India will be put in a bit of a spot because India doesn't want a military aspect in the Quad. So it'll be very interesting. I think these are the points that I thought about that can come up from the two sides. What will get reported in the news media will obviously be partnerships on critical technologies and so on. Yes, there is a report that US is going to stop exporting GPUs that are used for AI systems. A lot of these chips are of great value, as DeepSeek has shown in the last week. So these are things that are going to come up, though I think these will not be showstoppers. So these are my views. Let's see how it goes. The visit is still to be finalized in terms of the dates and the exact agenda, but this is my prediction. And I want you to give me some questions, your comments, your queries around this, and we can discuss further in a later podcast. So thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.